Today, I'm talking to Matthew. In just 4 months on Carnivore, Matthew has lost 40 pounds and gained a host of other health benefits. Just before we get started, please do me a massive favor, smash like and also please subscribe. This really helps out the channel and it helps me to be another voice out there talking about the carnivore diet. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon for early access to videos and additional content. The link to Patreon is in the description. Let's meet Matthew. Matthew, how did you find the carnivore diet?
Oh, well, quite some time ago, actually, I started watching uh, diet videos and a lot of the guys online, like Dr. Barry and Sean Baker, and more recently, Dr. Chafee, because the first I didn't know about him. Kelly Hogan, yeah, I started watching some of their videos, and I thought, well, let's just give that a try. Yeah, I can maybe reduce my carbohydrate uptake, my sugar, and see how it is. I don't really like sugar terribly much anyway, and see how it goes. So about year a year ago or so, I started trying to reduce all of my sugar intake, and I got rid of almost all carbohydrates, and it went fair. I had dropped quite a bit of weight, but I stayed kind of poofy and inflamed, and I didn't know quite why, but I was feeling a lot better. I was a lot lighter, but at the same time, I was losing a lot of shrink. And so it didn't seem to be really helping. And so I gave it up. I went back to the standard fare here in Indonesia and a lot of rice and fried foods and crispy things. And I just kept getting poofier and poofier and losing more and more of my strength. And I couldn't quite figure out what to do with it other than, just do some massages and try to exercise, maybe eat a little less. And I thought that I wasn't really going to get any better. I just figured, well, it's what it is. So I just kept going with it. And at the time, I had to give up most forms of exercise because doing any exercise started making my headaches far, far worse. I have explosive migraine headaches, and they can put me down for quite a long time, even up to an entire day in bed, and the headache may persist, between 4 and 5 days. And then on top of that, it switches sides. Sometimes it attacks on the right, then the very next day it's hammering on the left, or vice versa. And I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I thought, well, maybe my teeth are just bad, and maybe I'll just go to the dentist and have them all ripped out or something. I don't know. And I'm glad I didn't do that. So I went back to the carnivore community and said, well, maybe they've got something that I missed. Yeah. And turns out that's the case. I wasn't strict enough. I was not doing a good job of taking care of getting all the sneaky oils and hidden sugars and things like that out of my diet. And that's what I had to focus on, was going far more extreme, cutting out as much as humanly possible to figure out what I did and didn't need. And then seeing what all foods I might be even just a little bit sensitive to. Turns out quite a few things I'm actually very sensitive to, like tomatoes and uh, fibrous plants, rice. Flour. I didn't know how bad flour would hit me until I had a piece of fried chicken or two, and then I was like, "Oh my God, the headache is just oh." And there wasn't anything else really in it other than flour, and that's about how that went. Yeah, and now I'm about 4 months into my second round of carnivore, and not only have I lost as much, if not more weight than I did the first time around, I haven't lost my strength this time. In fact, my muscles build just standing still.
In those 4 months, how much have you lost?
Oh, well, I started out roughly 110 kilos, and just today I'm down to 92.32. So
92.32. So if we let me just grab my calculator here. So
that's
because
great
I'm
because my
actually
mind is switched off now.
I'm kilos is my language, right? But I'm starting to get more familiar with pounds because I'm talking to so
Oh,
many
that's
people
good.
who talk in pounds. So
I've been doing the
242
kilos for so
pounds.
long, I forget. Yeah,
242 pounds, and now you are
the
203.
92,
So you've
yeah,
lost
about
you've lost
203.
39, 40 pounds. Wow.
Yeah, and some of that's exchange too, because I haven't just dropped weight like the last time. I've also built up. So I've got more lean mass than I had.
Mm, yeah. And so um you've in 4 months so let's just say you've lost 10 pounds each month that you've been
Yeah,
doing
roughly.
carnivore. And again, you've probably lost more than that because you're building muscle at the same time.
Yes, yes.
Um, what else has changed for you? Like anything around the headaches or anything?
Well, the headaches have gotten tolerable. I still experience headaches, but they're not like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat anymore. So they're still there. Hopefully, they're going to heal up all the way. Because I don't know what the root cause really is, and so I'm waiting to see how that goes. Because I mean, like right now, I'm actually experiencing a headache, but usually like part of my face goes like shuts down and my eyes look weird and my countenance turns dark and I've got no strength. But right now, you wouldn't even be able to tell I've got a headache, but I have.
How are other things generally? Like how's your sleep and mood and things like that?
Well, interesting you mention that because sleep actually has changed. I've never had trouble falling asleep. That's not a big deal. But sleeping soundly and restfully, not so good. Yeah. Recently, I think that it has a lot to do with the carnivore diet. In fact, my sleep is a lot better in quality. And I've also noticed that when I was doing standard fare, I had no comfort sleeping on my back, none at all. And I would have to turn over on the right side. In fact, laying on the left side was even oppressive. I didn't like it. And now I've started naturally sleeping on my back more. I don't even know what's up with that because I don't know if there's even a difference, sleep on the side, sleep on the back. I don't know. But I've been doing it without thinking. Yeah.
Interesting.
Apart from that, another change is my teeth don't feel so loose. Yeah. They're all much tighter in their sockets. There's far reduced pain in the teeth that aren't great. And I think that that's going the other direction now. I also had some receding gums before, and I think that got a little bit better.
Wow.
It's amazing to me because all the small changes and tracking stuff that's different, and there's stuff that changes I wouldn't even expect. I went into the diet hoping that it would help restore parts, but I didn't know exactly how far I was even looking into or how much of me wasn't working. And now you
Mm,
look back and go, that's different. Yeah.
yeah.
So like
Um,
the squatting, I could never throughout my whole life do a full squat. And my legs are limbered up so much that I can tuck one behind and pull it up with both hands. I I didn't know I
mm.
could do that.
I think, like you say, things just kind of happen. You just suddenly go, "Oh, I can do that now."
Don't even know until you try something. That's why I've been just trying stuff to see what I can do and can't do. And sometimes I try something and well, I can't do it today, but then I go and try it again tomorrow. And it's like, well, look at that. I can do it twice.
Nice. So what is your day of eating like? How many times are you eating, and what kind of foods?
Uh, I usually eat anywhere between 2 and 3 times a day. Generally three because in Indonesia people eat quite often. And so social situations, family, and so on and so forth. And I tend to eat about 3 meals out of the day. But right now I'm eating mostly beef and chicken and eggs. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm staying away from anything that's not carnivore, as far as humanly possible. Here they've got all kinds of sauces and uh, stuff that they put on stuff. You don't even know what's in it. So most of it I have to have made at home.
Hmm. I imagine Indonesia is a little bit like Japan in that, like there's no issue getting the beef or the chicken or the eggs, and no one's kind of frowning at you for buying animal products or anything. But on the other side, there's a lot of crap that they would generally put with that as condiments, like the rice and the sauces and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not. I can't think of any restaurants off the top of my head that are like in near vicinity where they don't at least saturate something in a sauce.
Yeah. So how do
Yeah.
you go, like, if you are going out for a social situation or you're having dinner with family or
Hmm.
friends or something like that?
Well, we do tend to go out with family around here because it's something that they do, and sometimes we meet up with friends. For the most part, I just go with what I'm going to eat. We go to a a restaurant, I can pull from the menu what I would want. Then I can ask them, hey, please don't put this or that on it. And generally, that's the way it goes. There's a rib restaurant not far from our house, and if I ask them, please don't put the sauce on it, they don't put it on there. You know,
Mm.
but that's usually how we deal with that. But then there are also some lovely restaurants popping up here and there. You might be familiar with them. They're Japanese, all you can eat restaurants.
Oh, wow.
They've got beef and all kinds of stuff. You just go up to the bar, you pull out what you want, and you go and fry it for yourself. Or I really like those.
Mm. Oh,
They
nice.
don't have any eggs there, but they do have lots and lots of beef.
So is it like a yakiniku style restaurant? It's like a barbecue style restaurant. It's basically just beef.
Yeah, they got mixed stuff because it's Indonesian, so they probably don't really know how to do it the actual Japanese authentic way.
Ah,
But
okay.
it's like grill bar kind of thing where you pick what you want and then you go and grill it on the table.
Oh, nice. Are you're married or you're living with someone?
I'm married. Yeah,
Okay.
around here it's frowned upon to just live with somebody. That ain't how it's done.
Oh, okay. So, how does it go? Like, is she also doing this with you?
Well, she's gone to a much lower ratio of carbohydrates,
Hmm.
but she still has like her noodles and the vegetables and stuff. So, I say if you're going to cut back on it, that's great because, moving forward, that's the way to go.
Hmm.
And that's
Okay.
the direction she's taking it. She's moving forward, but little at a time.
It's kind of more going just a little bit kind of lower carb and yeah, joining
Yeah,
it for the most
she's
part.
just reducing.
Nice,
Yeah, but
nice.
it is moving forward, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Um, and how about work? Like you just kind of prepare a meal in advance and you take it to work with you, or
Yeah. We just make up stuff in the morning and I bring it along to work.
yeah. Do you get any looks from your
Yep.
colleagues like, how come you're only ever eating meat?
And oddly, no, most people don't pay attention to that. My wife
Okay.
asked me the same thing. So, did they say anything this time? Did they say anything this time? I'm like, no, they didn't say anything. They don't even look up when they're eating. They're eating, and I don't know, but some of my colleagues have gone, you're looking different, and I'm like, well, I don't eat anything that isn't meat, and they're like, so what about rice? I'm like, is it meat? They're like vegetables. I said, that's not meat. And like, so fruit, you can at least eat fruit, right? I'm like, uh, meat, that's very different from meat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's such a wild concept for people for most people. It's
it
just like
is.
the message doesn't get through very easily.
It takes a couple of tries. I'm staring somebody right in the face and they're going, so what about rice? I'm like, I literally just said, I only eat meat.
Hmm.
It's been
Nice.
fun
Yeah.
because some of them are going, maybe I could try that.
So, how's the we talk a lot about kind of the diabetes and the obesity problem in America or
Hmm.
Australia or the UK. How is it in Indonesia?
That is an excellent question. It has inclined, it's becoming more and more of an issue, yeah, in Indonesia. When I first got here, it was already an issue, yeah. I could see several local Indonesians that were very hefty and overweight, and it's only gotten worse. Uh, there was a video not long ago of I think he was like, I don't know, 8, maybe 10 years old. Little boy, God, every bit of him weighed more than 250 pounds. And I'm like, wow, you know? And from what I hear, he died. He died of being
Mm,
overweight. Yeah. That's, that ain't pretty. And they
terrible.
eat like, those instant noodles? They probably have the ramen and stuff where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And they have that here, and it is a general staple for most kids. It's just sad what that stuff does to your kidneys and your intestinal lining. Oof, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that's being made up, but I think it'd be pretty scary if you actually saw it being made.
I wouldn't want to go to one of those factories and go,
Mm,
let's look around. I just know I wouldn't want to. Like that
mm.
Soylent Green thing, and me running out there going, it's people, dear God, it's people. I
So,
mean, who knows what that is?
how's the medical system there? Is it easy for people to get care? Is it relatively inexpensive or?
Well, it is, but like everywhere else, it's to scale. Yeah. So the average worker around here makes about the equivalent of between 75 to $150 a month. Yeah,
Wow.
not a lot.
Mm,
Yeah. So it's pretty usual. Even though they have a set standard for living in big cities, it's not always applied to. Yeah. And so it can be difficult to get care, especially if you're somebody on the low pay scale. They have socialized medicine here recently, and that helps to cover the cost for the people who make the leave. Yeah. Um, it's definitely subsidized healthcare though. So if it's something you don't need it, you know. And who's
mm,
deciding what you do or don't need, you know.
mm,
So it's about the same as many other places, like Canada, and I believe Australia is like that now.
mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have in these 4 months or the preceding period of time when you were doing carnivore, have you been to see your doctor and like had your bloods
I
done or anything like
haven't.
that?
I really haven't. I don't bother with it because every time I've been to a doctor here, they're like, there were several times we went to have a blood check and so, family group, you can go and get your blood check on the same day. We've done that and mine has always been the best. So I just, figured whatever, doesn't matter. Now they're not checking for everything you could check for. It's very basic, but my blood sugars have always been good and, the iron counts and everything's nothing to worry about. And so I
Mm,
just don't bother with it. I know my blood is good. It always has been. But then there were times where my body's starting to go, you know what? This is going to not work today. I'm like, what's up with that? And like I was saying with my elbow and my wrist and my left shoulder, it got a nerve pinch or something down in there. And
mm.
it started to affect the lower parts of my arm. And I don't even know what happened. It just started to go, not today. And then it started to do that more and more frequently until my elbow just about had no strength in it. And then I'm pretending like I can pick stuff up. They're like, yeah, no problem. I got that. And then I'm just putting it all on the right side. And, you know, that is not a good way to handle things. And now, after just 4 months, and also the feeling in my left fingers had gone almost completely out from these two fingers. And now it's back. I've got full strength in my left hand and in my elbow and my shoulder. The impingement's gone. I don't know how, but it's just all better.
Is this it for you as far as your diet's concerned? Do you think you'll be a carnivore forever?
Well, from my understanding of it, the diet that works for the creature is the one that they ought to eat. Yeah. And I've explored other ways of eating my entire life here, and that ain't working, right? I can't survive if parts of me are deciding, well, I'm not working today. Yeah, that's not going to be okay. Now, on this diet, these parts are coming back online, and my general well-being is better. There's no reason to assume that another diet is actually fit for consumption. So I think there's really no contest. I'd have to go on eating as a carnivore because apparently human beings are carnivorous. So that's what I'm sticking with.
I'm just playing devil's advocate for a second. Let's imagine that, your employer says, look, Matthew, you got to go and get a physical for work. We're instituting this new policy. You got to get a physical every year. And so you go to the medical center, you get the physical, and they come back and they say, your cholesterol's sky high. There's all these things we're worried about. We need to put you on statins. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do all these interventions. And you need to start focusing on eating a low fat diet or a high carb diet or a high fiber diet or something like that. What would you
Uh,
be feeling if you got that kind of feedback?
oh, I'd be finding another job.
Right. So if your job depended on you accepting the advice, you'd be like, I'm going to go and find another job.
That is exactly right, sir. I would
Okay.
not bother with that. I would not waste my breath. I wouldn't waste my time. I'd be like, look, I have seen everything a statin can do for a person. My father-in-law took them religiously, and he died of stroke. I mean,
Mm,
I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Um, he didn't have any strength in his legs. He walked around a little bit, get exhausted, just moving. But I know he needs cholesterol in his system, right? And as long as you're suppressing the conversion of cholesterol throughout your system using a statin, your body's going to fall apart. Yeah, you can't do that and expect to
mm,
outrun it. You can't. And
mm,
maybe if you've had a severe heart attack or something, you just need that to be sure you're not going to get a blockage or something, then I can appreciate that at very low doses. Yeah. But the standard person just has a little elevation in their cholesterol. There's no reason for a statin, not whatsoever. And if my job depended on it, I'd be finding another job.
mm. Nice. I like the speed of your response when I ask that question. Um, that says a lot about how you feel about this way of eating and how it's making you
Yeah.
feel. Like you talked about the cholesterol, there's a lot to be said for allowing your body to produce the amount of cholesterol that your body thinks it needs to produce, that we ever thought we were going to be smarter than our genes is just,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Amazing. The hubris of an assumption that we can control this magnificent machine using chemistry that we barely understand. I
mm,
mean, I know, well, medicine's been practiced for so long. Well, yeah, but still, do we really know what all those chemicals do with the cascade through the human system? No,
mm,
we don't.
yeah. And the thing is, everything is working in such perfect harmony together, right? You just do change one thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that only one thing is going to change as a flow-on effect. There's all
Mm,
these other supported areas that are going to change in your body. Um,
yeah, it's
mm,
amazing what's downstream of just eating meat. Yeah, how can you even know? You can't because we don't even know what all in meat. There could be a million constituent parts to one little cell of a piece of
mm,
chicken. We don't know what it does.
mm, yeah.
And then our bodies are designed to engraft that into a living system. That is beyond amazing.
When you're at work, when you're out somewhere, wherever, do you ever kind of, now that you've been doing this diet for a significant amount of time and you kind of notice what things get repaired by eating this way, do you ever kind of look around you and think, you know what, that I wish I could go and talk to that guy and just tell him, why don't you try this diet? But you can't because you're gonna get punched if you walk up to him and take the popcorn out of his hand. Um, but do you ever kind of feel like that? I wish I could go and tell that person they don't have to be suffering like this.
There are occasions when you look at somebody and they're a pile of sadness. Yeah, I do. I feel that way sometimes. I'd be like, if you just try it for 30 days, you know,
Mm,
by the end of those 30 days, you're gonna look back and go, did I really look like that? Did I really feel like that? Have I always been this way? Yeah. There are occasions when you want to go and slap that corn out of somebody's hand or please stop eating those noodles. Come on, rapid succession, two bowls. No, come on, stop.
mm,
But no, that's just a terrible behavior that we really can't even support. Uh,
mm.
I've seen vegans act that way, but I'm not going to.
Talking about the noodles, I finally realize why um whenever I used to eat noodles, because you'd go out for ramen or udon noodles or something quite often in Japan, right? And
Hmm.
I finally realized why I felt so bad and had so much pain in my stomach whenever I finished eating them, and
Hmm.
why, like in Japan, they will tell you don't drink the soup.
Yeah.
Like once you've eaten the noodles, you're meant to leave the soup as it is because
Oh,
even
they
they
cook it
even
in soup, don't they?
understand they even
Yeah.
understand that the soup is not good for you.
Yeah.
Right? They're serving it to you, but they understand you shouldn't be eating it.
That's rough. Wow.
Yeah.
They cook it up in the soup, don't they? And then they leave it in the soup. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that explains
yeah.
it.
Oh, do
Compound
they cook?
chemistry. Oh,
No, no, no. They don't cook it up in this. Oh, hang on. I'm thinking. I don't know about ramen, to be honest, but I think with udon, like they do the noodles separately, and they put the noodles in the
uh-huh.
bowl, and then they scoop the soup
They scoop
onto it.
soup onto
But
it.
yeah, but it's still like my
It's
wife
still
would be like,
toxified.
if I was like drinking the soup at the end, she'd be like, "You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that," and she'd be telling our daughter, "Don't do that. Stop it. Don't copy him." You know.
Uh, well, given some noodles, there's a compound over time. There's a bit of an effect, but it could also be because of sodium levels, perhaps. If they maybe
Hmm.
they maybe they're concerned about sodium. I
That might
wonder.
actually that might be the point. They might be worried about sodium. Yeah,
But
but
it could also
yeah,
be just a natural thing that Japanese people don't do at a restaurant. You don't tip the bowl up to your mouth, that kind
yeah, true.
of. I don't know. I
I
haven't
could
been
I
to
could have
Japan.
been the heathen in the restaurant. Is it, what's
Yeah.
this guy doing? It's a
Like you
foreigner.
take the,
Okay.
it's taking the chopstick and stabbing them into stuff, that kind of thing. We don't do
Yeah,
that. Just ran afoul of
yeah,
a taboo, maybe.
yeah. True.
But I do know that the instant noodles, for sure, you have to drain those out because the stuff that's left over is toxic, and they know that. They tell you that. It's like on the package and replace and make that make you have to make the soup that goes for it separately from fresh water. At least you're supposed to.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm
For real.
glad I don't
Because
eat
that
that stuff anymore.
oof. I used to, but I felt so bad if I ate a pack of those noodles, and
Hmm.
for years now I haven't eaten one of those. And I learned about a kid who was eating nothing but packet noodles throughout his tenure at college. And the poor guy died of kidney failure. I'm like, what? This stuff can take out your kidney? Since then, I didn't touch one, and
Yeah.
I started looking more into that and found that the instant noodles, they can sit in your stomach as parts and pieces for hours on end without digesting. Like, oh, how can you do that? They took a pill camera and gave it to somebody who ate noodles that were made fresh and noodles that were instant noodles. And the noodles that were made fresh digested within 20 minutes, completely gone out of the stomach. Yeah. And I mean, still, we know that's not a good thing per se because it's going to elevate your blood sugar. But at the same time, it's better than having something sit in your gut for the next, God only knows how long, you know,
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible thought.
right?
Yeah. But this is the thing. We're just putting stuff like the cardboards and plastics and stuff basically into our bodies, going, oh, this is
And our
delicious because it's got sugar on top or something.
sugar, and not only sugar, but MSG and
Mm.
aspartame and all these other things to make it sweet and tasty and tangy and so much science. Yay.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
there's no place in the human organism for that.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah. So, Matthew, plan on eating this way indefinitely. Um, a-
indefinitely.
and the way I found you actually is through your YouTube channel.
Oh,
And
awesome.
so I was wondering, could you talk a little bit about your channel and what your
Sure,
plans are for
sure.
that?
Okay. Well, I have a channel. I titled it Bold Carnivore because I intend to live boldly in my diet and also in expression and walking it out and trying to reach the world in it. And I think that that's something that I can do. And so I'm going to give it a go. Here and there, I can practice and learn something new, or I can train or try something. Like I said in my first video there, I'm not training for strength. I'm just trying out what I can and can't do and seeing how far it goes and filming it while I do it. And so far, I've learned that I can do a couple of push-ups at a time, a few sets of that, and a couple of pull-ups, and it's getting better every time I try it. I learn I can do one more or two more, and I figured that's the kind of content I'm going to produce. And because I know a lot of guys, they're covering the angles of uh, interviews and podcasts and what it is that this stuff means medically and giving opinions. I may do an opinion piece or two or somewhere here and there, but for the
Mm.
most part, I'm gonna just try and see what my body's got. Yeah, and I'm
Mm.
going to put that on video and see if that challenges and entertains others. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So that's at Bold Carnivore.
Yes, sir. At Bold Carnivore.
Okay.
I'm also on the Instagram now because I figure it's a good way to promote too. And so that's also got the same name.
Okay, awesome. So I'll link to those in the description. Now, just one more thing. Um, I have interviewed one of your relatives already. Is that right?
That is right, sir. You did.
Okay.
You interviewed my brother Mason.
Yeah.
And
Okay. And have you spoken to Mason recently? How's he doing?
I have. He's doing really good. He should keep you updated. Okay, so come on, get him updated, man. But he's down to, I think the last I saw, he was down to 304, and that's great. He is
Nice.
still coming
Yeah.
down, and he's sticking as close as he can to carnivore, and he's doing a great job of it, sir. Now
Nice.
he started a channel too. I told him you're gonna have to update Dave about your channel,
Oh.
and he hasn't done it yet. But he hasn't
Oh
got
wow.
a diet video or anything on there just yet. But it's hulking meat eater. Yeah,
Hulking meat
hulking
eater.
meat. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Nice.
I can't wait to see how he looks in the next couple of months coming because he's definitely shedding the weight, and I
Mm,
know he feels better.
mm.
The other day he had a video of him doing some push-ups, and I was like, all right, man.
Nice. Nice. He's getting into the
Right.
push-ups and stuff. That's
Yes,
a really good sign too, right?
it is. It
Once you
is.
get that
Because
energy back.
yes, yes. And as soon as you can do the push-ups, it's a fantastic thing. And the other day, I felt bones and joints start realigning when I got down to the push-up position. And I'm like,
Mm.
that is fantastic. Because up till then, I'd have been worried if I get down in the push-up position, my elbow's going to give out. But now it's like this snaps and that snaps. And now I feel like, oh, yeah, that's in alignment. That's good.
Matthew, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
You're very welcome. And thank you for having me on.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.